ਸਤਨਾਮ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀਓ। ਸੁਖ ਦੁਖ ਜਿਹ ਪਰਸੈ ਨਹੀਂ, ਲੋਭ ਮੋਹ ਅਭਿਮਾਨ। ਕਹੋ ਨਾਨਕ ਸੁਨ ਰੇ ਮਨਾ, ਸੋ ਮੂਰਤ ਭਗਵਾਨ। ਕਹੋ ਨਾਨਕ ਸੁਨ ਰੇ ਮਨਾ, ਸੋ ਮੂਰਤ ਭਗਵਾਨ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Padshah Ji's Pavan Pavitr Bani, and this is the 13th slok. In this slok, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Padshah Ji Maharaj Ji say that Sukh Dukh Jeh Parse Nahi, Lobh Moh Abhiman. There's a list of things that Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Padshah Ji give within this slok, within the first pankti, within the first line. And that list is Sukh, Dukh. And Sukh translates to, often we would think within our mind that the word Sukh would translate to happiness or peace. But actually in this context, the word Sukh will translate to pleasure. And Sukh, Dukh, and then we've got Dukh can either be translated to pain or suffering. Sukh, Dukh, Jeh Parse Nahi. Parse means to touch. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj Ji is referring to that person here that is not touched by any of these. That is not touched by Sukh, by pleasure, that is not touched by pain, suffering. Sukh, Dukh, Jeh Parse Nahi. And what else aren't they touched by? Lobh, Lobh meaning greed, Moh meaning attachment, and then Abhiman, Abhiman meaning pride. And then Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj Ji Padshah Ji go on to say, Kaho Nanak sun re mana. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Padshah Ji saying to us, saying sun re mana, hey my mind, re means hey, saying hey my mind, listen, that sun re mana. So that those people, those that aren't touched by the list that we have just gone through, so who are they? What are they? Murat. Murat means form, Bhagavan. They are the form of God. And that with Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Padshah Ji's kirpa, we'll try and look at now in more detail. What does it mean to actually be the form of God? And what does it actually mean not to be touched by these things? So Sangat Ji, so when Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Padshah Ji is saying that speaking about someone that isn't touched by any of these, so where are they? They are in that place where we all, every human being is trying to reach and get to. How is it that we are all searching for that, but we might not even know that? That we might not be conscious about that, but subconsciously we are all trying to get to that place. Who doesn't want true eternal happiness? Nobody in this life tries to achieve something or tries to achieve something materialistic and is chasing something just so that they can be happy for 5 minutes. In that moment, when we're trying to achieve something, to get something, whatever it may be, this now there'll be hundreds of examples for this. And for somebody it could be a phone, for somebody it could be a car, for somebody it could be another son. It could be so many things, status, to get to a certain place in your job. Whatever it is, somebody's chasing. Nobody in their mind thinks that when I get that, I'm putting so much effort in and I'm doing it just so I can feel good for 5 minutes. No. Whatever it is, everyone is doing it because they think, for that moment, they think that I'll be okay. Once I get that, I will be okay. I will be content. But actually, that isn't the truth. We all know that. We can all sit down, just reflect for 5 minutes. We can go through all the lists of the things that we've chased in our life, and we know that how long it's lasted, not very long. And that's why that is actually called pleasure. Pleasure is something that is only experienced for a temporary amount of time. It's momentarily. Sukh mangat, dukh aage aave. That when we actually ask for sukh, but when we're asking for it, we don't actually know that we're merely asking for pleasure just to be pleased for a small amount of time. We're actually fooled in thinking we're actually asking for eternal peace. When Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Pach is saying, Kaho Nanak Sunre Mana, oh my mind, this says, Kaho Nanak Sunre Mana, so Murat Bhagwan, that is the form of God. What is that form? The form is Guru Gobind Singh Ji Pach Ji has love. When we're able to experience somebody in that has reached the avastha, the state of love, then we are actually getting to experience God. And we'll experience it through somebody's vessel, through somebody's body. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Pach saying, Sukh dukh jeh parse nahi lobh moh abhiman. Moh. They said those that aren't touched by attachment. If Guru Gobind Singh Ji Pach was touched by attachment, then they would have suffered. Let's just look at a very simple example. If we had a sticky tape and put that sticky tape, we know somebody might go for a blood test and sometimes they put this little tape there after they've done the blood test. And now that is stuck onto the skin. It's attached itself to the skin. We all know how painful it is once that is being ripped off. Anytime we become stuck and attached to something and we're afraid and we're living in fear of losing it, and then we try to hold on to it, we end up reaching that place of greed. And how is then pleasure linked with it? So first of all, through our experiences, whatever we have experienced through our senses, we look at something and then a thought comes within our mind. And often that thought in some places in Gurbani is called mansa. That thought comes and we think, yep, I need that. And it's not really something we need. And we'll say, yes, I need that particular thing. So what happens then? From that thought, I need that, I want that. Then it comes, after that becomes the ask, the desire, is then I want it. So it's the thought that, oh, that seems nice, I could do one of them. And then it becomes a desire, oh, actually, I want that. And then from that, it becomes what we call trishna, which what we call desire that becomes obsessive and it takes over our mind and we can't think nothing other than that. And then from that, when we then obtain it, then we've got what we thought was going to actually, this is it, this is the sukh now, we've got it. And what happens is, then after a bit we think, oh my God, I didn't know that was going to come out as well. I should have got that one. And that is it. And then it's over within 6 months, a year, 5 minutes sometimes. And we had our hopes set in it for so long. And how is it that we then start coming away from suffering? We come away from suffering when we start to see the results of something. So for example, Guru Sahib Ji makes it clear to us. In that moment, we are taken over by pride. Just to understand this, because Guru Sahib Ji talked about pride in this as well. Abhiman. Abhiman means pride. Pride comes from homic, from ego. Ego is when I'm not living in oneness and I'm living in duality and I'm in complete ignorance, then there's duality, there's two. When there's two, there's competition. When there's competition from then ego, from home, we've now understood when we attach ourselves to something, suffering comes from that. Abhiman comes from ego. It's when we're looking down at someone, wanting to be better than someone. Kaho Nanak Sunre Mana, oh my mind. When we experience somebody that is beyond all of these and they're only coming from a place of complete compassion and love, that is the form of God. Love is the form of God. Experience somebody's love is experiencing God. So please forgive me for my mistakes. Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh.